Hello, this is Peter Murphy, President and CEO of the Illinois Association of Park Districts. Today, we are presenting another video as part of our Legends video series. One of the missions of IAPD is to recognize outstanding park, forest preserve, and conservation district board members throughout the state of Illinois. I hope the knowledge and insights these great leaders provide will inspire you to continue to make a positive impact at your agency and in your community. Please enjoy.
Hello, I'm Wayne Utterback, Director of Communications and Digital Content for the Illinois Association of Park Districts, and I'm pleased today to be speaking with Woodridge Park District Commissioner Jack Mahoney for the latest installment of our Legends video series. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to sit and talk with me, Jack.
You're welcome.
Now, I was wondering if you could give me a little bit of information about your background and how long you've been with your park district.
Well, my background is computers. I started in computers and in electronics actually in 1965, and through a series of companies, including RCA and others. I wound up back here in Chicago after spending time in the service during the Vietnam War. And I came back I got to Woodridge in about 1973. And I got involved on a local level with the baseball organization, which I saw as a special interest group, that also got involved with the Park District because the Park District provided baseball fields. And through a series of interactions, I wound up in 1984 joining the board of the Woodridge Park District.
All right, and how would you describe your overall experience with the Park District?
I think it's been good. I've seen a lot of growth, and a lot of things have happened over time. We've built a lot of things and gained a lot of properties, gained a lot of responsibilities, and we've done some really good partnerships, both with the school districts, 68 and 99, and with the village, the Woodridge Village. Our responsibility has grown from, I think we had responsibility for about 200 acres of property when I started, and today we have responsibility of about almost 700 acres. 350 of which the Park District really owns, and the rest of it we contract with other people, including the school district and the school districts and the village.
All right, and what was your motivating factor in becoming a commissioner?
Motivating factor was I was dissatisfied with what I felt the Park District was providing at the time. And, I got involved by coming to Park District meetings and listening, and then figuring out that my special interest was not necessarily the interest of the total public. And the responsibility of the Park District was for the total of the public and not just my baseball organization. So over a period of time, I became more liberal in my thinking toward what the Park District was providing. And I felt I adjusted my attitude, I guess, that allowed me to think on a broader basis rather than just about the interests of my organization. And that's still the way I look at it today. That is, the Park District's responsibility is to the total of the public and not special interest, not necessarily special interest groups.
Now, what can you tell me about your park district that makes it unique and special and one of a kind?
Our Park District, I don't know how special the Park District is, but I think it is in the fact of our people, our staff, is quality staff, and we just had that discussion where we've become kind of a training ground for other park districts. That is, they come and they find our employees and that are well trained, and our employees at times have moved on. However, our mainstream staff, the primary management staff, which consists of about 5 people, I think the average there is about 15 years here. And our people, for the most part, stay with the Woodridge Park District. And I think that makes us kind of special. And the Park District staff has been extremely creative in what they've done and how they've done it. And they've been able to keep our budget costs lower because they are creative in what they do.
Now, speaking of longevity, of having a strong management team there, I would just like to ask you about your time with the Park District and what keeps you engaged and involved today.
Well, I'm less engaged than I was. When I first started, I wanted to be on every committee that was out there and so forth. And over a period of time, I realized that I had more influence than I really wanted. I wanted to see what the public really wanted. So I kind of backed off on being deeply involved in the day-to-day decisions. In fact, I believe that a commissioner's responsibility is to oversee the staff and not necessarily manage the staff. If you understand the difference between what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I believe that the day-to-day operations are up to the professionals, and the long-term evaluation of those people is the responsibility of the board. And if those people don't perform, then we need to adjust those people.
So there are many challenges that new commissioners face when they first step into that role. What advice would you give to those who are new to the position?
The advice, well, let's say this, that things have changed radically since I joined. I felt that my training ground was the first 10 years. And that was listening to the park board for 4 years prior to getting on the board and another 10 years afterwards. Today, things have changed. They've changed radically. A new commissioner, when they come in, the first thing they're given is a stack of policies and procedures and goals. And those goals and so forth, when I first came in, were not written down. It was just a given. Today, through development of written documents, it's much easier for commissioners to learn what they need to learn. Also, we do have meetings and we do have training sessions and so forth. That never existed when I first started. We were a lot less formal in those days. Is it a good thing? Yeah, it's a very good thing. I think it's been easier for the commissioners to learn what they need to learn in a shorter amount of time.
Now, from your own personal experience, what is a philosophy that a good commissioner should adopt in order to be successful in that role?
The biggest thing is sit there and listen before you start preaching your own gospel. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. I hear that. I hear that a lot from a lot of commissioners I speak to.
Yeah, you need to listen more, a lot more, than telling other people what you think. And you need to do that a long time. And today, I do that more than I ever did. I listen, and as other people will tell you, the comments that I come out with, generally, and there are very few comments that I make, but when I do, people do listen.
Excellent. Now, you were talking about the staff there at the Woodridge Park District. During your time as commissioner, I'm sure you've met many incredible professionals in that field. What would you say are some key attributes that are possessed by those who are really successful at the staff level?
Okay, the first thing, we've had, in the 35 years, or actually more than that, the years that I've been here, we've had 2 directors, both of them extremely good. And the first one was, he was a less formal than the one that we have now. Mike Adams today has made sure that goals and objectives are all documented, and documented well, and everybody on his staff is well acquainted with that. And the board is always kept informed on what goes on, even to the smallest detail, which at times can be overburdening, but at least he's told us. And we rarely are blindsided by anything.
All right, excellent. Now, I'm sure you've seen many challenges in your time as a commissioner. What would you say are some major challenges confronting today's park district system, and how do you think we can best resolve those?
I think the most important thing that the park district can do is to keep the public involved. And to me, the public, as far as our meetings are concerned, really don't get involved. It's a rare occasion when people show up at our meetings. Is that maybe because we're real good at what we do? Or it's because the public isn't interested? However, when we do go out and look for people to join committees and stuff, we can find them. But we have to go out and ask them. They don't really volunteer. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I understand exactly what you mean. And keeping the community engaged is so important. I think during the pandemic, more than ever, having that engagement and having that connection with the community is crucial.
Well, yeah, 12 years ago, I decided I was going to retire. 12 years? Nah, maybe more than that. At any rate, I went around and I firmly believe that each neighborhood should have a representative. And Woodridge is basically 7 different neighborhoods, as most towns are. And I was looking for someone from my neighborhood to replace me. I never found him, so I'm still here. And it's one of those things when I go and I talk to people, I try to avoid getting involved in details until the final decisions need to be made as presented by the staff. And I feel that I can look at a situation like the public does if I'm not involved in the detailed planning of something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what happens then is I make a decision based on what my neighbors are telling me they want. And oftentimes I go around and I talk to people or listen to people. I ask them a question, and frankly, they give me some frank answers. And I bring those attitudes back to the meetings and the interactions with the other commissioners and with the staff.
How would you like to be remembered when someone looks back on your time at the Woodridge Park District?
Well, I guess that I was here during the build, that I had a lot of influence on what was done, and I had a lot of influence on keeping the costs down. You know, we started out, as I said, with responsibility for about 200 acres, and today we're at about 700. We started out with a Quonset hut for a facility and a house for our administrative building. Today we have this administrative building, which is, I don't know how many square foot, I don't remember. I think it's around 4,000 square foot just in this building. And we have built a maintenance building, we've built a water park, and we have the athletic, the ARC, which is a very state-of-the-art premier building also. So yeah, I'd like to be remembered that I was as a person that helped build the community and the facilities in the community.
All right, and this question kind of goes hand in hand with that. When you look back on your service, what would you consider to be your major contribution to the field of parks and recreation?
The major contribution is keeping the park district on track on what we needed to do, which was open space and the support thereof.
All right, excellent. Now, what would you say is the best advice you've ever received?
In regard to?
Just life in general, something that you think of and it inspires you on your day-to-day efforts.
Yeah. Keep your mouth shut until you know what's going on. And then state your opinion and make sure that as clear as you can be that you're right.
All right. Now, what advice would you give to a 20-year-old?
To a 20-year-old?
Yeah. Somebody who's just getting ready to step into a world where they're going to start making some big decisions.
Well, now you're talking about my grandchildren. And my advice to them is to live your life while you can, while you're young.
That's wonderful
And
advice.
a lot of what you're going to do, you're going to have to learn on your own. I can give some guidance, but are you going to listen? That's going to be up to you. You need to make your own way in life. I can't make it for you.
All right. Now, are there any historical figures that inspire your work? Anybody from history or even just general history or the history of the Park District that have inspired you and that have motivated you down this path?
I don't know. I think FDR is one of them that inspired me. And when I looked at what he had to do under the circumstance, you have to understand that when I started here, we had a tight belt, a very, very tight belt. We learned to live under those restrictions, and we've tried to carry those restrictions on. And I think FDR was in the same boat, but he was a leader. But he sat back. he kind of led from the rear, if you will. And that's what I try to do. I try not to be a person that is going to be out front, but I am a good supporter. And I believe that when a decision is made by let's say a board, and I'm part of that board, whether I agree with that board or not, once the decision is made by the board, I'm obligated to support it. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. It's a good perspective to have there.
Yep.
All right. Now here's a fun question for you. If funds were unlimited, what would you like to see done for your park district?
Funds are always limited. Unlimited? Did you say limited or unlimited?
Unlimited.
Originally, I thought funds were unlimited. I wanted to see a stadium built in the center of town here, which was not a very brilliant idea, to say the least. If we had unlimited funding, I would like to see the development of the town center, which it's 44 acres of property that was purchased in tandem with the village, and another 59 acres, which is adjacent to that. And I'd like to see that property developed also. And I'd like to see it developed with a lot of amenities. And frankly, that's always been lower on the priority list. But if funds were unlimited, I'd see that 44 acres developed immediately according to our master plan, which took 5 years to develop and has been out there, and it may take another 30 years to finish it. And that 44 acres is part of that, and the 59 acres is part of that master plan. If we had the money tomorrow, I would do that master plan. And that's very open to anybody to review it. It's here all the time.
All right, and I've got one more question for you. What is your vision for the future of park districts in Illinois?
Keep as much space open as possible. Yeah, let's say this, I grew up and actually very close to, right out my back door, one of the largest parks, municipal parks in Illinois, which was Joliet Park District at the time. It's called Pilcher Park. At any rate, those type of properties, open space and development of amenities. I'm thinking the park districts over a period of time need to maintain open space so that people have facilities to go to enjoy the outdoors. It's my belief that we're becoming so urbanized that stuff is going away, and is going away quickly. When I look around and I grew up in a semi-rural area with a lot of cornfields and stuff, I see that stuff going away. And people are going to be looking for places to go to enjoy the outdoors. And frankly, I feel that the park districts need to maintain as much of that space as possible.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Especially during this pandemic, it's been so important to be able to have spaces to go and things to do outside and get us outside of the homes. So You have to
Well,
have
I
park
was locked
districts.
up. I was locked up for what, a year and a half. Well,
Yeah.
we didn't go anywhere. So, I'm one of those people that they felt was vulnerable to this stuff, and frankly, I had some people in my family that passed away because of it. So,
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, well, and we had a lot of issues because I'm I'm from a very large family, to say the least, and um, yeah, we were locked up a long time, and I'm glad for the freedom, or some of the freedom that we've gotten back. Although I see it coming to an end again. I don't know if they're going to lock us down again, but boy, it's not looking good, is it?
I hope not. I hope not. People are just starting to get back out and enjoy stuff. So, yeah, I hope that we don't go back to that. But,
Did I answer your question or not?
you absolutely did. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to sit and talk with me and answer my questions. And I thank you for your long, years of service to your park district. I'm sure they appreciate it as well. And thank you so much again for just sitting down with me and chatting.
I appreciate it.